Hello everyone, I'm Ian McAllister, and in a break from our usual podcast, we've got another special edition for you. These are all the interviews that we carried out in Tabletop Scotland 2024 with a variety of creators. We'll put a link to all their websites and products in the show notes, so do please go and check them out, and you might find your new favourite game. We hope you enjoy. We are inside the Tabletop Scotland halls, about 10 minutes before the front doors open. I'm here with Jamie.
Hello.
What's your first impressions of the new venue then?
My goodness, it's huge. I mean, you say first impressions. We were here the night before, setting up a lot of chairs and a lot of tablecloths.
Yeah.
And
all we can see is chairs and tablecloths now. That's all that falls before our eyes.
But it's huge. It's a barn. I can't wait to see it full of people playing games.
Yeah, it's going to be good. There's a lot of exhibitors here, a lot of new ones this year as well. Because it's moved to Edinburgh, there's some more of the bigger names you might recognise, like Nadifius, Mantic, Ronak and Deckard,
Warlord
Games are all here. Renegades are going to be here Saturday and Sunday with Joyride as well, which is getting a lot of good buzz. And there's lots of little indie RPG folk that we'll definitely be visiting and talking to over the course of the convention, hoping to play a bunch of games.
Also indie board games.
Yeah. There's not as much of that, I think. There's definitely an RPG
There's still quite a bit. I think over there, this is great radio.
Yeah, good point. We're professionals.
I think I've learned how to do this by now, but no. Apparently not.
No, indeed. I've got my first review copy of the con as well, which is the expansion to Dead Air.
You've got a review copy?
Just give me one, yeah.
Well, I'm going to buy one later.
I still need to review Dead Air. I will get around to that. I've got a copy of Dead Air. It's a solo RPG of, like, radio broadcasting of post-apocalyptic Scotland, basically. And they've got an expansion after that. They're debuting at this convention. But yeah, no, there's lots of different exhibitors here. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Panel tonight on Fantasy and Folklore that I'm running. We're doing the pub quiz tomorrow and a couple more panels over the weekend. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So we're at the Indie Connection stall, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, so sort of lots of indie RPGs from the sort of local area. I'm here with Tanya Floker.
Uh-huh.
Is it Floker or Floker?
Floker.
Floker, excellent. I bought your game BC New last year.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
So that's basically the PCU is the phrase from the Prisoner TV show.
Right.
So it's heavily inspired by that.
Yep.
But also by other dystopian science fiction.
Right.
Effectively, you create a central character as a group.
Yep.
The prisoner, and you take it in turns to play as that character. And rotate the roles around. There's also someone playing their nemesis, people playing the other residents of the village, and people playing the environment of the village. And basically, it's about their attempt to escape. And does individual action work within a systemic system of oppression? Right. Play to find out.
Yeah, play to find out. Yeah, I will actually get around to playing to find out that. Picked up last year and still haven't got that done yet. But it's not just you on this stall as well. It's there's a couple other folk here and a bunch of different games. Yeah. So, like, can you take me through briefly what's on?
Absolutely. Let's have a wee walk down.
Sure.
So, as well as be seeing you and my other games, The Connection Machine and Solstice, we've got the Great Martian Tripod Race.
Someone told me this was like Wacky Races in Space, basically.
It's Wacky Races meets The War of the Worlds.
Okay, sure.
It's sort of steampunk, zany, gonzo fun. This is sort of a quick start version, where the designer, Martin, is put in basically the basic rules of his game, and an adventure that those rules pair up with really well.
Cool.
And the idea is, if this gets a little bit of traction, he's hoping to publish a fuller version in the future.
Do a bigger version, cool.
Okay. Alexandra Brockman has released this game Wise Women a few years ago. It was Emmy nominated for Game of the Year, and it deserved it. It deserved the win that year, I think. I'd put that on my gravestone or whatever. It's about Slavic folklore, mainly from Poland, but also around the region.
Yeah, how we look earlier, it looked really cool.
Yeah. It's spectacular. It's about basically playing witches who are trying to solve problems in their village, but also keep the fact that they're witches a secret.
Right.
And all of it comes from the actual folklore of the plants and witchcraft from the area. It's spectacular. highly recommended.
Nice.
Alex has also got Conspiracy in Reality out at the moment.
Okay.
It's a sort of lasers and feelings hat.
Okay,
about
sure.
the mindset of conspiracy theorists and
Right.
what happens within those circles.
Right.
And so there's a sort of like light-hearted option or more serious option for how you want to pitch play. Next up, we have got Outliers, which is basically playing a lab tech in a laboratory where reality is starting to break down around about you, and you're trying to deal with all the sort of the zany, we just had a big stall fight where lots of things fell over. Okay, so.
That's a solo RPG, and I picked up Signal to Noise.
Yeah.
Which is a fascinating sounding little thing about basically sending messages over light years to each other.
Yeah. There's also sort of number stations as a solo Cold War sort of spy RPG. Project Cassandra is like it's sort of like psychics in the Cold War.
Okay, sure.
Stealing the Throne is about a sort of like trying to go and steal this great ancient mech and get away with, and working out whether your sort of colleagues in this endeavour are going to betray you or not.
Cool.
The Gardener is Dead is like spooky stories.
Okay.
The gardener dies. What happened? What's the ghost all about? We'll find out. And then we've
Craig was telling me about Hopes and Dreams, the Orbital Bound, based on the start of the books of those names. I can't remember what was Becky Chambers. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
We've got What's So Daring About Sky Pirates, which is exactly what it says on the tin.
Okay, sure. Just seen Sky Pirates.
Yeah. Sky Pirates. We've got some sci-fi adventure with the Cassandra, the Kandahar contraband. We've got Duskbringers, which is like D&D. And then we've got Rune Sword, which is sort of like old school role-play gaming.
OSR. So you're into like all individual publishers coming together to help each other out?
Yep.
And you started up like a meet-up in Edinburgh as well?
We've had, that's actually predates the stall.
Oh, does it? Okay,
right. So Edinburgh Indie Gamers has been running for about, I think, 8-9 years now.
Oh, I've only become aware of it recently.
Yeah.
Shows why now.
So it's basically once a month we meet up and have a sort of like pick-up games night where it's all one-shots, zero prep, turn up, try out some new games. As it says in the title, the club's sort of dedicated to small press and indie games.
Yeah.
So if you've been there, try to get a game or something going at another club, but everyone's busy playing D&D, come down to ours.
Yeah.
You'll probably fill up a table in no time.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, thanks so much for your time, Tanya.
Yeah, quite okay.
So I'm at the Inspiring Games stall at Tabletop Scotland 2024. I'm here with Kev, who is the sort of CEO, head honcho.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All those things.
Chief dishwasher. Good morning.
Morning. So how's it going so far this morning? It's only just opened, really?
Good, just opened. We had demos straight off the bat this morning, which is good. So
Really?
It seems to be busy, yeah.
Fantastic.
And a bigger stand again, and in a new shiny new venue, which is big, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very busy. So your like main game is like Legends Untold, which is sort of like card RPG kind of
Adventure game in a box.
Adventure game in a box.
Yeah. And so we're just at the stage where we're getting people to come along and try that out. We should hopefully have that available to actually give our backers early next year.
Brilliant.
In addition to that, we're showing off prototypes of our new games that are coming out.
Cool. What are the new ones coming out?
So the new ones we've got coming out. One is called Lord of the Horde, which is a battle game competitive where you take.
I remember playing that 2-3 years ago. Tabletop Scotland.
So it's at the stage where it'll launch after this.
Great.
And then there's another one called Legends of the Brethren, which is like a 4X game where you take a tribe of dwarfs set at the same time.
Right.
And it's the other way around. You're trying to get a hold of your lands and take control of stuff and build your empire. So
cool.
That's a totally new one, yeah.
Have things been for Inspiring Games over the last sort of few years with like pandemics and Kickstarters and all that fun?
It's all of the above. Yeah, no, it's been good. Yeah, we're enjoying life. It's fun and we've still got passion for it. Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic.
Thanks
so much, Kev.
Cheers.
So I'm at the Colossal stand at Tabletop Scotland 2024 with Nick. Are you the creator of Colossal? Or?
I am, creator, writer, and artist as well.
Okay, what is Colossal?
Yeah, sure. So Colossal is a solo RPG, right? So it's like D&D, but if you've got no mates.
Okay.
The idea being you're keeping a journal or a diary of your adventures, as you explore the Colossal, which is a castle so massive that there are continents and oceans within the rooms of the structure itself. It's all powered by a standard deck of playing cards.
Right.
So rather than dice, I've opted for your usual 4 suits, 52 card deck.
Yep.
You draw cards, you check them against the rules in the book, and it tells you what you discover as you explore this impossible structure, and also guides you to combat and all the other good stuff you'd expect from an RPG.
So you've got like the core book of it, and you've got some extras here as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's 4 books at the moment. Core book and then 3 expansions, which kind of expand the frontiers of the world. You know, if you were to go through them sequentially, you would be discovering new lands, incredible new enemies to fight, and new cultures and cities and all sorts of good stuff like that.
Cool. There's also a bunch of card decks in front of me here as well.
Sure, yeah. So it's powered by a standard deck of cards, but I've created an illustrated set. You don't need my set, but it's obviously designed to look in keeping with the world.
Yeah.
And then I also have what I call the job packs, which are mini expansions for the player, which give you the ability to have a job role as you explore. So, for example, you could be an apothecary, and you could forage for ingredients, combine them together to make potions. And
so it's a sort of crafting system, effectively.
Sort of, yeah, built into a specific deck of cards for that job role, and they all sort of function like that, but all differently.
Awesome. Yeah. So is like Colossal the only thing you produce at the moment, or are you?
At the moment, well, I also have a background in like comics and graphic novels, so I've done a lot of work, more work really in that field. Right. And then Colossal was like my first tiptoe sort of into like making a game on my own. Yeah. I've developed games before. I worked with Big Punch Studios, and we made Sandwich Masters, which is a very silly sandwich making card game, making disgusting sandwiches, which has been around UK Games Expo for a few years.
Yeah, I recognise the name a lot.
Yeah, cool, yeah. So I've worked in games before, but Colossus is the first time I made a game purely my own, entirely my own vision and everything. And I have plans to do more after this one as well.
Cool. It's got a sort of slightly Studio Ghibli kind of vibe.
Thank you very much. It's very kind. I think that's my comic background coming in here.
Yeah.
So key line, sort of borderline cartoony stuff. Big fan of Zelda, big fan of Ghibli.
Yeah.
So
that's all things as well.
That's all coming through, I think. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks very much, Nick.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I'm at Hive Mind Game Stall with Freddie. They've got lots of sort of independent RPG stuff going on. What's on your stall, Freddie?
So I'm piggybacking on the Hive Mind stall with My Game Village on stilts. The main thing that The main thing that Hive Mind is selling today is a game called Brother Y, which is a game where you play as a monk who's been caught drawing ridiculous little creatures in the margins of your work.
Okay, yeah.
The game uses real, actual marginalia drawn by monks from the 15th century. You have to defend yourself to the equivalent of your boss based on like a randomized Bible quote. So you get given a randomized goober, a randomized Bible quote, and it's a comedy improv setting where you're explaining to your friends,
cool.
Oh yeah, sure, Jesus is kind, so that's why I drew the goat who's milking the goat kind of thing. And then Hive Mind also has a range of 5e supplements, including like Viking vampires, and then some world-building tools as well.
Yeah.
Both of the world-building tools were collaborations with an academic and a game designer to talk about responsibly using magic in your games. One of them for divination, that's Eye to the Void, and one of them for occult magic, which is At Your Peril.
Cool.
So that's the Hive Mind stall, and Hive Mind are also exhibiting some stuff from Chris Bissett, really interesting, like Wretched and Alone stuff, and some journaling games from Montford Tales as well, kind of reflexive, kind of like letters between vampires, and also a connection to nature stuff.
Cool. And you've got your own game, the Bookmarked, here you're telling me about as well?
So the Bookmarked, the idea of the Bookmarked is that you take any book from your shelf, and that becomes a spell book for your character in-game. Now, the way it works is you imagine that the book has survived the collapse of civilization, and your character has found it. The only thing that's left over from this civilization is advanced robotics, humanoid robots that still try and perform their menial tasks of labor from the previous years. But because they're programmed in the same language as the books that people can find, they're able to be reprogrammed, influenced, and communicated with any book that you find. So it's effectively the book becomes a spell book, but it is in a sci-fi setting, essentially.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And that's it. Yeah. So the idea of the game is like, trying to encourage like playful interaction with things in the environment and props, and having a creative prompt so you don't have to come up with stuff on the fly. And just helping to add to the immersion and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is it sort of like intended as like a sort of one-shot session or like campaign?
Yeah, it can be campaigns. So the game comes with several scenarios which center around the breathless or the robots that you're trying to kind of help. And so that comes with a number of those, and then also roll tables for the encounters that you can come along the way. GMs are invited to kind of stitch those together while drawing this kind of wider, mysterious narrative of trying to track down what this breathless is and what this robot does based on a kind of clue trail.
Done. Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much for your time, Ray.
Thank you very much.
So, I'm here with Tristan Hall from Hall or Nothing. He's sort of like on the corner of the Legends Untold stand. I haven't really interviewed you at all, Tristan, though I've known you for a little while. What was your sort of company about? What sort of games do you produce?
Yeah, so Kevin and the Inspiring Games team have very kindly hosted me this weekend, and I'm here with Hall or Nothing, my company. It's me and my wife, Francesca, and we make fantasy adventure games and historic, epic battle system games, which are basically history card games. The elevator pitch would be sort of Magic the Gathering, but not collectible, and where every single card is based on a real person or a real event from history. So that's the main thing we've been pushing this weekend. We've got 3 games in the series here. We've got the 1066 Tears to Many Mothers, which is obviously the Battle of Hastings, and we've got 1565 St Elmo's Pay, which is the Great Siege of Malta, the greatest siege in history. 500 Knights of St John versus 30,000 Ottoman Turks. It's an incredible tale that I only learned about
I don't
10
think I
years
knew that
ago.
one,
So, as soon as I found... I went to Malta, basically, and we had this incredible holiday, and I discovered all this...
On expenses on the company?
Oh, no, long before the company even existed. And, and I was blown away by the story of Jean de Letter and the Knights of St John, and I thought it'd be the greatest action movie ever if they made this like a movie out of it. So I've tried to shed some light on it. We've got some incredible artists that I work with who've brought the people from history to life and given it like these gorgeous, you obviously can't see them.
You've got a sort of quite photorealistic style of art going on.
I mean, some of it's got a bit of an artistic flair to it, but we got a team of artists, and these guys specialise in the history. So, for example, Arcadius Benas, who does the lead character art here, he's as much of a history nut, if not more so, than me. This card here, again, I'll just have to describe it to you, but this is Sir Oliver Starkey. He's actually an Englishman who was fighting alongside the Knights of St John during the Siege of Malta. And when Arcadius sent me this image, this is a picture of a guy with long hair blowing in the wind and 2 dueling pistols. And I was like, it's really cool, but it's a bit Hollywood. It's not very sort of... I wanted to go for a more realistic approach. So within half an hour, Arcadius emails me back with a photo from the Maltese Museum of Natural History of 2 dueling pistols that were used during the Great Siege of Malta. And I was like, that's cool. That's going in the game. So,
very cool.
It's been great to work alongside those guys, and also have my history hat on and go through the history books with a highlighter pen, trying to bring life to all these characters, shed a bit of light on these incredible stories.
So the other branches, like your fancy stuff, like Shadows Kilforth and those, they're more cooperative solo games?
So all my games have solo mode. I'm a big proponent of solo games. So even like the history games have a one-player mode. Shadows of Kilforth, Call of Kilforth, and Gloom of Kilforth is my trilogy of fantasy adventure games. Basically my love letter to Tolkien and D&D. And it's a 1 to 4 player fantasy adventure game. It can be played competitively, cooperatively, or solo. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour per player, so it's a big, meaty adventure experience. This is the only game you'll be playing in the evening if you're going to play the Kilforth games. And the idea was to sort of recapture and channel that experience of going from a hero with nothing but 1 gold piece in the back pocket to going on a huge array of adventures and exploring ancient shrines, meeting strangers, slaying monsters, going on quests, and eventually becoming powerful enough to be known throughout the land. It's just trying to kind of recapture the narrative experiences that I remember from playing D&D as a kid and growing up. And when I designed the Kilforth series, all of the fantasy adventure games on the market were like combat simulators where it was kill the goblins and steal the treasure sort of thing. So I was trying to sort of channel more of the story, the narrative beats of exploring ancient realms and meeting people and winning them over to your cause and that kind of thing. So, but there is some goblin slaying and treasure hunting in there as well.
Cool. So what's next for yourselves? Hall or Nothing? I don't think we mentioned the company name.
Hall or Nothing, that's us.
So what's next?
The latest game, and you're holding the prototype now, so this is Creole Manor, the dungeon crawl card game. So it's set in the same world as Kilforth, and it's kind of like a prequel. But this is a much more tightly focused dungeon crawl adventure. So you're a hero traveling through all these different dungeons in this citadel of horrors called Creole Manor, where a nefarious lord is about to open a gate to another world, and if you don't stop him...
Castle fun, give me sort of like Castlevania slice vibes.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a pay into Castlevania. And the Lord of the Manor is trying to basically unlock a portal and let all these demons through from the other world. And if you don't stop that from happening, then a gloom is going to spread across the land, and the events of Gloom of Kilforth will then take place. So it's almost like you can stop Gloom of Kilforth from happening if you complete this game.
Cool.
And it's a campaign game. So unlike the Shadows of Kilforth, Gloom of Kilforth, and Call of Kilforth, which are like standalone games, this one you can link adventure to adventure, and you can play it cooperatively or solo. And you'll level up your hero as you go and build your deck as you go along.
Cool, that's great.
That's literally just landed. It's about to ship out in September.
So this has been kickstarted and...
all done and delivered. Well, it's about to be delivered. So you're holding the very first copy.
Ooh, I feel privileged. Thanks very much. Cool, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. So I'm here with Kayla Dice at their stall. So what's the game? What games do you produce? What's your company?
Yeah, so I sell games under the distributed name Brainwaves Game House. I make a large variety of games. I often say all of my games focus on themes of alienation and connection.
Okay.
Some of the recent big games I've made was Terminal. I've crowdfunded a game called Psycho Dungeon recently, and I'm going to take to back a kit later this year a game called Transgender Deathmatch Legend 2. As well as
is there a first transmitter?
Yeah, it's out of print at the moment on my side, so I don't have it at this convention. But so it's a sequel to it where I'm expanding it with loads more scenarios. It's going to be 7 exciting adventures you could play as one shots, and it's a card-based beat 'em up, very ultra queer and hyper violent, I guess you might say. And as well as that, at this table here, I've got loads of different zines of smaller games I like to release, experimenting with different ideas and stuff.
Yeah, there's a good selection of stuff in here. Is this all yours, or is it other companies as well? Or?
Yeah, so for this stall, it's basically a team-up of 3 imprints. So there's me, Brainwaves Game House. There's Laurie O'Connell, who publishes 12 Prince Press. He's the creator of games like Lichcraft and Hieronymus and Death Game. And then we also have Chloe and Alyssa from Biscuit Fun Games, who are selling their games Tournament, Arc, and Levante papers. So we, I think, are, obviously we know each other well, so that's part of why we've teamed up, but also it's a fact that I think all of our games are very uniquely themselves. I don't think any of us have sanded the edges off our games to try and appeal to everyone.
Right. So they're kind of a bit spiky, bit rough edged, but deliberately so.
I think it's I've said sometimes people come up to the store and go I like everything. I'm we've got everything. But we don't have one thing that's for everyone. We just have something for everyone.
You got a lot of variety of it. Yeah. So is it the first time you're coming together to be a stall together, or?
In this exact configuration, me and Laurie have teamed up at 2 cons before, along with some other people.
Right.
And Alyssa and Clay have usually been part of a UK indie league before, but this is the first time all 3 of us have teamed up in this case, and this is also the first time I've done Tabletop Scotland.
Yes. How are you finding it so far? Or?
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. It's been nice to speak to people. It's been really nice to hear from across from the Indie Connection, and Tanya was telling me how loads of your games get played at Edinburgh Indie Gamers.
Oh, that's great.
It's it's nice to hear those kind of things, see people I don't really see much outside of conventions, and get to talk about what excites me about the games I make.
Yeah. Great. Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks.
Cheers. Okay, so I'm up at the back of Tabletop Scotland's hall, just towards the end of the Sunday, with Phil Harris, who's been running the Game Jam over the course of Tabletop Scotland. How's the Game Jam come to be, and what's been happening up here?
So, before the pandemic, Dave contacted me and said Tabletop Scotland should have a Game Jam. He felt that it was an important thing to do.
Yeah.
And I agreed with him. And then, unfortunately, a pandemic came in. Tabletop Scotland got bigger, and here we are in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
But a game jam itself is about people trying to create a game in about a 48-hour period. Game jams can be different lengths. We provide some of the resources, but a lot of the resources they bring is themselves. We have talented people from the industry to advise and mentor throughout the process. And basically the people not only learn how to create a game, they learn what's involved in creating a game, because it's never as easy as anybody thinks, and therefore they have to think about time constraints. They have to think about how much they're prototyping and all of these things. And also there's a subject which was stuck in a loop for this game jam. Yeah. And the subject is there to direct people and give them a little bit of a direction going forwards. And then the ways that they deal with that are interesting. Right. And then the judgment is based on not only that, but a whole bunch of other factors like the gameplay, the complexity, how easy it is to pick up, and things like this. But for me, the core element is people who've got the best game that's stuck closest to the subject matter at hand.
Okay. So what sort of variety of games have come out of that? Is there different types of game that come out of that restriction?
Well, we started off with people talking about black holes, and we had a lot of Hadron Collider, things like this going on. Okay, yeah, sure. Roller coasters, but then certain people couldn't see how roller coasters would work really, really well. Yeah. We still have a Hadron Collider game at the moment. Nice. We have really good. We have a Hadron Collider game. We have one which is somebody caught in time, which is really, really interesting. We have one with spies and it's the hours of the clock, which are affecting the loop. We have one which is about narrative storytelling. We have one with cats and yarn, and we have one about we have one with hunters slowly encroaching on the habitat of endangered species.
Wow, that's quite a variety. So they're going to get judged, and you're sort of coming up to the judging just in a few minutes. What sort of factors do you look for in each game?
Firstly, you have to take account of how many people are in the team. Yeah. So that's quite important. You have to find out how conscientiously they've followed the subject matter. Because we're here all the time, I watch the team dynamic and see how they're acting together. I respect people who say they want to work on their own and things like this. We can hook people up into teams, but sometimes that doesn't work. With one of our competitors, I put them with a team and they were no, you know what, I can do this on my own. We had a family team come along and do this type of thing. Yeah. And we have different levels of learning and instruction. Sure. And again, whilst it's not the prize for me, it's about the learning and the process. So if this is a team that's never done a game before and this is their first time out, they can do much more impressive things than people who are old hands at it. But the people who are the old hands at it come along because they like the challenge and they know that they're going to get a subject and they're going to have to think outside the box and use their perspective to judge those things.
So your hope for it is more to be sort of an educational experience for people, as well as the aim and the prize, but just a bit of an educational as to how games get put together and the process of doing that.
Yeah, it has to be fun.
Yeah, it has to be fun, yeah.
It really, that's really, really important for me. Yeah, of course. I think a lot of times educational things come across as really worthy. Yeah, so it's oh, we're going to do this and follow this regimented plan to get these things done. But it really, really has to be fun and enjoyable. People have to enjoy what they're doing. They have to have the frisson, the bonhomie, so to actually get on with this stuff. And therefore you need somebody who, even though I am dying inside, still has the energy to produce this stuff and keep going and give them positive feedback and positive reinforcement. Yeah. There are times at game jams where people go completely off the rails. We've sort of got to nurture them back and bring them back safely. But this Tabletop Scotland is such a lovely location. Yeah. And I don't just say that because the boss just walked by.
You've got to say nice things now.
But it's very, very beneficial to creating stuff like this in the space. I think next year we'll probably look at the feedback and maybe make some tweaks and changes, because obviously there's other events going on here which people want to attend. But there's so many people here, and there's so many people who aren't here but have still taken part, which is great.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Phil.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. We'll put links to all those creators in our show notes, and we hope to see you at Tabletop Scotland in 2025. Bye for now.